My question is, why are you in Canada? Okay, my friend, I'm gonna tell you why exactly I'm here in Canada. So, when I was in the Philippines, I received a really sad news from the doctor. And the doctor diagnosed me with a heart condition. And I got really sad. My family were really sad. And we didn't know what to do because the doctor told me I only had a few months to live. And fortunately, I have many relatives who lives in Visayas, where they live in Siquijor and Leyte. Now, Siquijor is well known to have a lot of manananggal or witchcrafts. And as far as you know, or if you don't know this, manananggal is considered a vampire in the Philippines, a Filipino vampire. So, manananggal can fly, except that manananggal, they cut their body into half so that they can fly. So my parents asked my relative in Siquijor if they could help me out because during that time I was only 17. So my family and my relatives in Siquijor had a meeting and they were talking about how I only have a few months to live. So in the Philippines, in order for you to become a manananggal, you must be 18. I guess 18 is the right time or the right age to perform an initiation to become a manananggal. And since I was only 17 and the doctor told me that I will die in a few months, maybe 3 months, maybe 2 months, and my birthday to become 18 is not until 9 months. So my ninono in Siquijor, or we call them the elders in Siquijor, decided that they are going to give me my gift early. And one of the elders, or one of my ninono, predicted that I am supposed to take over the best manananggal in town because I have a lot of potential to become a manananggal. So they decided to give me my gift early in order for me to save my life. And in return, I can only turn into a manananggal once in my life, and I could never become a manananggal in my entire life. It was very, very hard for my parents to accept the gift because, of course, I had a lot of potential to become a manananggal, right? My ninuno, or the elders, found out that Canada has the best healthcare system and it's also free. So what my ninono did to me is to break the rules. Instead of giving me my gift when I turned 18, they give it to me when I was 17. So they give me a gift of becoming a manananggal early, and at the same time, they give me a gift of becoming a witch. And the reason why they did that is so that I can fly to Canada or here in Canada for free rather than taking an airplane. And instead of turning into a manananggal, I will just become a witch. And instead of taking an airplane, all I have to do is ride in my broom broom, which we call that dawalis ting ting. And the goal is, the moment I will arrive here in Canada, I am supposed to go to the hospital where the sick people are. And when I get to the hospital, I'm supposed to find a patient that has a heart problem. And if I find that person, I'm supposed to go to that person's body, and instead of treating that person, they're actually treating me. So here I am. I'm not a manananggal anymore. Instead, I'm just a normal person. I did wish that I am a manananggal because my parents would be so proud of me, but of course, we have to give up, or we have to compromise some things in order for me to survive, right? And because of what happened, I have to remain here in Canada because, of course, Canada's healthcare system is still free, and I have to take advantage of that for the sake of curing my heart or maintaining a really good heart. So now you know, my friend, why I'm here in Canada. Wait, how does cutting yourself in half help you fly though? Okay, so let me explain. When my ancestors or my ninono discovered that we have the ability to live forever or to live for a long, long time without aging, they figured out that by sucking blood, it can actually prevent us from aging, or it can reverse our aging. Instead of becoming old, we would stay young. So before, my ninuno would turn themselves into a sigbin. Sigbin is kind of a dog. And instead of a dog walking forward, they walk backward. And their body is twisted at the same time. We call them sigbin, but I don't know the term in Tagalog sigbin or the term in English sigbin. But because the sigbin only walks on land, it was so easy for the people to hunt my ancestors and punish the sigbin. And before, the sigbin's victims are animals such as dog, cats, roosters, and all sorts of animals. But because the sigbin were being hunted by the people, my ninuno or my ancestors were trying to find an alternative way to transform into something else to keep our clan safe. So what they did, they were trying to make some sort of oils, all sorts of oils, until they figured out that coconut oil can transform us into an aswang or manananggal. So they tried that. They were so happy because they can finally fly. Even though they can fly, for some reason they can't find fresh bloods. And the reason why is they cannot fly high and they cannot fly far away. So they had a meeting, they were doing a briefing. What is the cause why they cannot fly high or why can't they fly far away? It turns out that our wings or my ancestors' wings cannot handle the full body. And that's the reason why they cannot fly high. So they decided, okay, what if we cut our body into halves? And they made another form of oil. Maybe they put more coconut oil and maybe other herbs too. And when they perfected the oil, or we call them lana, so when my ancestors started putting lana or oil all over their body, especially to the ladies, they noticed that the lady became so beautiful. Their hair is so long and black. And then next thing you know, their body started twitching. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And their bodies started cutting into halves. And the next thing you know, they started transforming into this beautiful aswang or manananggal. And the first manananggal who started flying, I was like, wow, I feel so light. Wow, I can fly high and I can fly far away. And that's when they were able to find victims easily, because instead of walking on land and turn into sigbin, they can turn into manananggal or aswang. And they find victims through the roof of people's houses. But of course, they make sure that their victims are pregnant ladies, right? So now you know, Dean, why they have to cut their body into halves, because it's easier for them to find a victim rather than crawling on the land. I'm so amused. I watched it until the end. Did you say that witch or manananggal can't pass in the sea? Because I'm from Capiz called Aswang. Yes, you are correct. If you turn into a manananggal or aswang, you cannot pass the sea. And we all know, especially as Filipinos, that salt is our weakness when we turn into aswang or manananggal. And if we pass the sea, or if we even get closer to the sea, what does sea made of? It's made of salt or asin. And that is why my ninuno or ancestors gave me a very, very special gift. Because if I turn into an aswang and my body would be cut in half, the half of my body would stay in the Philippines while the other half of my body would migrate to Canada. And that's why my ninuno was really trying to find a way to preserve my entire body. And that's why they turned me into a witch. That way I can at least protect my body from wearing a cloak and wearing a hat and riding on the broom broom. And on top of that, the salt from the sea won't affect me. And the reason why many of you there in the Philippines who remains manananggal or aswang cannot go to other country is because you don't have that special power that my ninuno gave to me. And as I mentioned from my previous video, my ninuno consider me a very, very special girl. And that is why the power granted to me and to me only and no one else. And it doesn't matter if you're a special aswang or if you're a special manananggal, you don't have the same power as me. Okay, so just accept it that I'm the most favorite aswang or manananggal from our ninuno. And don't get jealous because I got crowned already before I was even born. This is before when my mom was still pregnant with me. So meaning your family is a witchcraft clan. Yes, that is correct. However, not all my clan have the same power. We all have varieties of powers and varieties of abilities. For example, me, I have a power. No, not just a power, but I have powers. That means I'm one of the most special witch in the clan. And one of my special powers are me being able to smell fake people. I can also sense toxic attitude, especially toxic Filipinos. And also my power prevents me from being close to toxic and fake people. My hearing, my smell, my taste, they are so sensitive. And even if you're very, very, very far away, I can already sense that you are a fake person. And that is why I don't have a lot of Filipino friends, because the moment that I get close to a toxic Filipino, I'm able to sense their toxicity and fakeness. I do have friends though, however, they are very special too. They are witch at the same time. And for me, you cannot be friends with me unless you are a witch. And I'm able to communicate with my witch friends or witch relatives through telepathy. And yes, my families are witch, sorcerers, or many varieties of superpowers.